This classic whistle-stop presentation is brought to you by Out West. Love the West? So do we. Click the icon or go to scvoutwest.com.
When Disneyland opened in July 1955, it featured an exposition of transportation systems, from horses to riverboats to locomotives. But the Magic Kingdom moved to the technological forefront with the introduction of the Mark I monorail system in 1959. This was the first passenger-carrying monorail of its kind in the Western Hemisphere to operate on a daily basis. And it was the direct result of one of Walt Disney's commitments to develop an entertaining attraction that also provided a practical, futuristic mode of transportation. In 1958, Disney Imagineers traveled to Europe to examine an experimental monorail developed by the Allweg Corporation near Cologne, Germany. After considerable study, they recommended to Walt Disney that he introduce a similar model at Disneyland. Disney designers, assisted by Allweg engineers, developed what became known as the Mark I, a monorail system built at the Burbank Disney Studios by WED. WED stands for Walter Elias Disney Enterprises, the design and Imagineering arm of Walt Disney Productions. The Mark I was purposely designed to demonstrate operability under different topographic conditions. The Disneyland Allweg monorail system was unveiled at Disneyland on June 14, 1959 by Walt Disney and Vice President Richard M. Nixon. Mrs. Nixon and their daughters Tricia and Julie also participated in the ribbon-cutting ceremonies, which were viewed by a national television audience watching a special Disneyland 59 TV show. The monorail beamway was extended to the nearby Disneyland Hotel in 1961. Making the system the first in America to run adjacent to a major highway and cross a city street, a total length of nearly 2.5 miles. The present monorail system at Disneyland, the Mark III, was designed by WED to accommodate a growing Disneyland audience. In 1969, after almost 5 years of research and development, 4 new streamlined 5-car trains were built to replace the earlier models that had carried over 30 million passengers more than 850,000 miles in 10 years. The Mark III trains contain 127 passengers and are 137 feet long. A new frame and body for the trains was designed to be driven by an advanced engineered electrical power unit, and a new suspension system created a smoother ride. The Mark III has a top running speed of approximately 35 miles per hour, although it seems to be going a lot faster. But this speed is used only for crossing the Disneyland parking lot. Within the park, the trains run between 15 and 18 miles per hour. Utilizing an air and dynamic braking system, the Mark III drive and braking pneumatic tires run on the top surface of the monorail beamway, and the guiding and stabilizing wheels contact both lateral surfaces of the beam. The Disneyland monorail system has changed greatly over the years, but many of the same technological principles have been maintained throughout the development of the system. The trains have always been electrically powered, operating on 600 volts of direct current, transmitted along a pair of copper and steel bus bars mounted on the right side of the beam. The monorail is powered by 4 100-horsepower traction motors, in contrast to the 4 55-horsepower motors of the Mark I and II. The undercarriage of the trains straddles the beam in such a way that the drive and braking wheels run along the top surface of the beamway, and the guiding and stabilizing wheels contact both lateral surfaces of the beam. These wheels, 8 rolling in a horizontal plane and 4 rolling in a vertical plane, are connected together by means of a welded steel frame. The forms from which the individual beams were cast are steel shells that can be adjusted to produce curving, twisting concrete girders. Most of the beams on the Disneyland monorail range in length from 32 to 42 feet. Beams of this length measure 20 inches wide by 34 inches deep and have a design strength of 5,000 pounds per square inch. However, 50 beams, each 60 feet long, were used on the straightaway across Harbor Boulevard and across the parking lot. Each of these 50 beams weighs 46,000 pounds. To maintain the design strength of these beams, it was necessary to increase their depth to 40 inches. The beamways and pylons, as constructed for the Disneyland all-wag monorail system, are substantially the same size and scale that would be used for any metropolitan single-track system. The basic design of the cars, including their motive power, braking, and safety systems, could be utilized for any metropolitan transit system. For a city transit monorail, the cars, however, would possibly be larger to provide for baggage, mail, and standing room. The Disneyland trains have carried most of the heads of state, movie queens, presidents, and stars who have visited Disneyland, as well as millions of other Disneyland visitors from every state and nearly every nation.
Shop, look, and listen right here at WhistleStopUSATV.com.